I'm Tina from Move with Courage Coaching, and I'm here to talk to you about how rewriting your resume can build your confidence. So typically when we think of rewriting our resume, it's for the purposes of applying and getting a new job. And with that process usually comes a lot of urgency and time crunch and even expectations. So the expectation that once I have a perfect resume, I will get the perfect job and everything will be fine. Right? So there's a lot of pressure around that resume writing process, which is probably why we tend to put it off. But the part that's really interesting about writing your resume and taking the time to do it well is that you can reflect. You can reflect on where you've been and why that matters, and also start to think about possibilities of where you'd like to go. And so there's a lot of times besides just a career change where you might really want to rewrite your resume, right? That would really help you and be super beneficial. One time I can think of is if you have been in the same position for a long, long time and you are somebody, you have a lot of responsibilities, you have a lot of roles, and really you don't have any time embedded in your day to think about anything else but what you're doing that day. And I have a lot of mid-career clients like this where they are so overwhelmed with tasks. They don't remember what they did last year. They don't remember all their wins. And in fact, they don't have time to consider it. So once it comes time to, write this down, they have no clue where to look. And so if that's you, if you feel like you don't even have the time to think about where you've been and what you've done and none of it matters, it's time to rewrite your resume, because I've also seen people in that position, 18, 20 years in a company get laid off and then rewriting a resume with no record of everything they've done. Oh my goodness. It's heart-wrenching. Another time you might want to rewrite your resume is if you feel that you forget where you're strong. If you feel that, your role is kind of telling you who you are, and that can be true for job and also family, but that it's not really lining up with who you actually are. Maybe you've grown, but that is a perfect time for you to really rewrite your resume and reconsider where you're strong. You might also feel like there is a transition just around the corner for you. Maybe something inside is kind of pointing towards, this maybe not being a good fit, or just something needs to change, or maybe you feel that within the company as a whole. Good time to rewrite your resume. Maybe you also feel like you're overlooked, or others are passing you by, or maybe even sadly that your voice isn't as loud as other people's voices in the company. So that's a great time to rewrite your resume and really take a look at your message and, consider, does it reflect who you actually are and the impact you actually bring? So, I rewrote my resume whenever I transitioned to being a business owner. And, you don't need a resume to be your own boss. But I found that writing my transferable skills down was incredibly helpful. And specifically, it helped to see my value as a leader. And once I was able to do that, I really started to get all these other ideas about the possibilities of where I could go. I think it also encouraged me to pursue professional resume writing training because it was just such an interesting and challenging process for myself to go through. But I also realized I should have done this 10 to 15 years earlier. I was one of those people so busy, too busy to write anything down myself. So I knew for me, my goodness, if I would have done this 10 years ago, maybe I would have headed in a different direction quite sooner, right? So it's so important if you have the ability to take the time to reflect while you write your resume. And I have something down below for you to do that. It's a 4-day journal. But really to reflect, if you can, on those pieces, that are crucial, that matter to owning your value and your worth. So whenever you start to redo your resume and to update it, look for, of course, your accomplishments. And this is not just because that's what hiring managers want, but usually this is a clue to the areas that you're most proud of at your position. And think about the work that you want to be doing and the way that your brain likes to operate, maybe those specific problems that only you like to solve. And think about also maybe a day if you hadn't shown up to work that day, something would have completely failed without you. That hints at your impact and your role. And think about a project that you could do, forever maybe at work and forget about time and, skip lunch, because all of these pieces are the pieces that not only you're strong at, but also they bring you strength. The pieces that your brain really, really enjoys, to do. And if you emphasize these, if you're able to emphasize these in a way that's relevant to your position you want to go to, that's great, because what you're doing is targeting your career direction in a way that matches up with what matters to you and the work you want to be doing. So look for evidence, look for data, look for old emails, any kind of feedback on your, performance or your impact, anything. Look for those financial reports that the company sent out that were boring and you skipped over, and look for any sort of tie-in to you, your team, or your department, and write it all down. Collect it. Like a scientist, you then need to believe the evidence. Believe what you see. Claim it. Read it out loud every day. I had a client that printed out the resume that I wrote for them, and they had a couple copies actually. They put it in the passenger seat. On their commute, if they got stuck in traffic, they pick up their resume and read it out loud and reinforce their direction and their worth. And, that was really helpful for interviewing, of course, but also just for them to remind themselves of who they are and where they're going. So, you could also make a future resume. Think about those things that you want to do. It's sort of like a targeted vision board. Do whatever makes the most sense for you. And so you will find that rewriting your resume will really start this process of building your confidence. And I think in 5 ways. So the first way is you will update your perspectives, of course, on where you've been, where you're going, your impact along the way. This helps you with your goals, with your vision, with direction. You will also, number 2, understand what is possible for you, how you can grow beyond where you are now. Number 3, it will help you, and I think this is really important, to claim your wins, claim your strengths, rewrite those beliefs. Number 4, it will help give you the strength, purpose, and direction to take action. And number 5, it will help you trust in what you can do once you are at this new position. So give it a shot and let me know how it goes. My favorite thing is to help clients to build their resume and really to help them see and to embrace what everybody else knows, that they are fantastic. So thank you for watching, and move forward with courage.